Dynamite! Dynamite!
Okay, so for what's the next segment? All right, this one is sort of like a combination of things. We got some good news, we got some bad news, but most importantly, we got facts for your ass. So this one will be talking a little bit about the numbers, and we'll be talking about COVID and just the ideas that are being pushed around because things are looking good. So let's just get into it, shall we? Hey, how you doing? My name's Heero. That's Eric. And because YouTube has made it their mission to discount misinformation, YouTube, you should know that the people on this podcast are both vaccinated. In fact, everyone that's been on this podcast today has been vaccinated. We do not dabble in misinformation. We don't even dabble in pseudo misinformation. We usually bring numbers to back us up, and if we don't have it, we give that caveat. So before Don Cheadle gets on here and says I'm fake news, please acknowledge that me and Eric are not worthy. We have everything we need in order to be here. So with all that disclaimer done, Eric, what the fuck is up?
Yeah, that's well, not much, but what's up is my Vax card because I got that, you know. So this is, again, like Heero said, this is not misinformation. This is just facts. Now, if they come back with the bull jive for a strike again, me and Heero are gonna have a real problem with YouTube. We will make sure we go to Silicon Valley, have a nice conversation with the president.
Yeah. We're not above reproach, and neither should you. We know where you live. No, but seriously,
we do.
The problem with this is when we have to talk about things like this that are pertinent to our community because our community seems to be in a void of getting this information. It makes it hard for us to have genuine conversations. So let's start by having one. COVID deaths are down as a result of less people being put in hospitals. Because people being put in hospitals gives us the opportunity to actually take care of other people and not continue this like echo chamber of infection rates. Remember, 3 months ago and even in this month, the people who are being put into hospital beds are people who are not vaccinated. That's just a fact. Like, you don't have to fight us on that. The majority of people, we're not saying all people, we're just saying majority of people. You don't have to fight us on that. The death toll dictates that for us. But there's some good news out. The death toll is dropping, and it's consequently as a result that now we have more people getting vaccinated. Could it be because of the pressures that were being put on us by the federal government? Sure. Could it be the fact that it got FDA approval for one of the vaccines? Sure. Could it be the fact that we're going back into the winter and last year was when we hit a big time spike because that's when most people started going down 2 years ago? Absolutely. Whatever you choose to pick as your reason, just understand good things are happening. So how do we keep these good things continuing to happen, right? How do we keep ourselves from falling back into the trenches of this? But first, we have to acknowledge that people will respond, for better or worse, to being threatened. Because it sucks that it happened, but people had to be threatened with their jobs and their livelihood in order for them to make a decision about their lives and their livelihood. I don't know, Eric, how do you feel about that whole mandate? Either you get the vaccine or you get tested every other week.
Where I'm at, it's every week. You need to get tested every week. You must get tested every Wednesday, and there's a special link you have to go to, and you must have it in before 12 noon. If you do not, then you forfeit your employment. That's just kind of how it goes. Do I agree with it? Yeah, I do. But do I also agree with mandating the vaccine, to your question? No, I don't agree with mandating the vaccine. Now, is what we have in this country a mandate? No, it's not a mandate. The thing is, let's just be clear. Every human being has a decision to make. Every human being. You can decide to get it. You can also decide not to. Now, you say, well, I was forced. If I didn't get it, I wouldn't have a job. I said, well, go find a job at a place.
Go start a business.
Go start a business. There's 11 million jobs that are available right now, and a lot of these places aren't requiring vaccines. I'm just saying. So there's plenty of work out here. You could have decided not to do it. You chose to do it. Me, I chose to do it because I'm a healthcare professional, and I can actually read and understand scientific literature. Now, for those of you all who can't, that's what we're here for. That's why you pull it up on the identity proof. Let me just give you the long and short of it. Natural immunity, it helps. The vaccine also helps. As a matter of fact, there's plenty of literature out here that talks about hybrid immunity. Now, am I saying that you should just believe what I say? No, I'm saying you need to go consult your medical professional, and you need to do what's in your best interest according to your medical professional. But I'm going to tell you right now, save you the trouble. Most medical professionals are going to tell you that you should get it. There's very few that are going to recommend not getting it. And of those, there's got to be some special kind of circumstances that would warrant them recommending that you're not. So to me, at this point, I feel like this is going to be a big fat nothing burger. But a part of me also understands that the people who did not take the vaccine, I honestly feel like they're going to end up being vindicated. They're going to the information is going to come out in 2023 after Pfizer finishes their study, and they're probably not going to release the data, because I have a strong feeling it's not going to be in their favor, or they're going to skew it. But they're already making record profits. This is, at the end of the day, is what it's about for me. If you haven't invested in Pfizer, they're actually on a dip. It's probably a time to buy in if you want to get into it. Otherwise, for me, all this, while the vaccine we know works for the most part, is still a big money grab. That's all. That's gonna be my only gripe. It's just a big money grab. But what's your feelings, bro?
For me, I want to more talk about, like, regardless of what you want to, I'm always going to judge people on what they're willing to stand up for. If you said you're not going to take the vaccine because you stand on your morals and you believe in your faith or whatever that nonsense is, and then it's time to put the bullet in the chamber and you bow out, I've lost a little bit of respect for you. David Pakman has a great show, but he talks about the hospital workers who were refusing the vaccines and how they had this big uproar that there was going to be thousands of people leaving the job, and then it was only 175 of them that left or were put on suspension, and that was less than 1% of the total population of hospital workers in the area. So I just want to read on.
Two relevant stories yesterday to what we're going to talk about now, which is firings related to people who are refusing to get vaccinated for their jobs as required by their employers. Yesterday, we had two stories sort of about this. One story asked, is it time to start firing unvaccinated employees en masse, so to speak? That was one question we talked about yesterday. Many of you wrote to me and said, yeah, it is. Once you say those are the rules, you've got to follow through. Otherwise, these are empty threats. It's like the parent who makes an empty threat to the kid, or I don't know, whatever analogy you want. The second question we asked yesterday in another segment, and many of you wrote in about this one as well, is, are some of the people saying they're going to quit over a vaccine mandate lying or exaggerating, or maybe even misunderstanding their own willingness to quit, and they're not really going to quit? They're probably just going to go and get vaccinated. And one of the examples we had yesterday was Massachusetts state troopers, where the union for the state troopers said, we've gotten dozens and dozens, massive dumps of resignation letters. The union said that. But state police human resources said one trooper actually resigned. Now, we'll see how it all shakes out. We now have a couple of additional data points, and it seems as though there are people willing to quit, but more likely be fired over not getting vaccinated. But yesterday's assessment that it might only be half of 1% to 1% of employees at any given organization may well be right. Let's look at a couple of data points. Washington Post reporting, North Carolina hospital system fires about 175 workers.
Can we pause this for a second? So if you guys remember, like, Heero, I can't remember. You can help me jog my memory. I said this like a month ago, like a month and a half ago. Didn't I say this was going to happen? Didn't I tell people to just go ahead and capitulate because we knew that's what you were going to do anyway?
Shawnee.
Oh, what up, babe? What up, babe? I'm almost done. I'm ready for dinner. I got my pizza. I want my pizza up. Shout out. Yeah, they capitulated, man. They just folded like we knew that they would. Is what I'm like. So why would you come out and pump fake and play like you weren't gonna get it? Listen, at this point, almost 80% of Americans have had at least one shot. At least one shot. So why are we even playing this game like this? It's a whole big deal. You got a fringe minority of people who aren't willing or disagree with it. I'm just throwing it out there. Like America, for as much as y'all puff your chest out, bang on it like a 400-pound gorilla, you're just a paper tiger. You're a kitten hands. You're not actually about the life that you say. There's a very few of you who are, but no one knows who you are on purpose because the algorithm is going to make sure no one knows who you are. This is the deal. Now, people can look at this and say, Eric, isn't this bad? I would say, yes, it's bad. You know why? Because most people are just content to capitulate. They don't have any other options. At least they think. And so they just fold at the end of the day. They're going to comply because their current way of life means more to them than the jab. You went online, you made a couple dumb posts. You wish you never posted them because somebody screen grabbed them and you know it's forever on the internet. But you went out and secretly got the jab. You just didn't post it. That's a whole bunch of people. So why we even...
That's
Go
a
ahead,
great
bro.
point. That's a great point because there was a poll that went out and said 1 in 5 white men voted for Trump. So like there was a dude sitting in a room with 7 liberals and he's like, 2 of you have lied to me. Like 2 of you have lied to me at some point. Like it's crazy. And I love the point that you made where it's like, why are you trying to be this outspoken minority when you know you don't have any belief in your own resolve? This is the chart. This is the chart right here that should really just make people. Last year, November was our highest death toll. If history is to repeat itself, we saw a dip too right before we went into November. In October, we saw a dip. If history is to repeat itself, the most people are going to die in the next year. And if you're looking at these 2 peaks, one's higher than the other. One's higher than the other.
This is in the cold months. And winter is coming.
We are in a fucking precious moment right now where we can actually definitively say we can do this, America, together. Or we can watch another 2,000 people start dying every day.
I don't think it's gonna get back to that. I feel like honestly the worst that was ever going to happen has already happened. I think when it gets cold, we'll see a slight surge of cases. Deaths not so much, but I mean because the virus attacks a certain demographic for certain reasons. The people who are more susceptible of getting it, we won't get into because we're gonna get shadow banned on YouTube if I say it. But make sure you take care of yourself. Winter is coming. Yes, that is. Kevin Samuel's been saying that to y'all for about 2 months. Winter is coming. He's like, it's gonna get crazy in this whole little situation here. Shout out to all my Game of Thrones fans. Shout out to Nafi for the Game of Thrones reference. But I'm telling you, look at this. Look what's on your screen.
The thing that's crazy for me.
The fact that they call it the jab in this article. What publication is this? This is hilarious.
This is a New Science article that was written on biotech
for
them.
Jab.
And the thing that you got to understand too is when pharmaceutical companies are saying what they're saying about their equipment, we have to wait for it to go through its own peer review. We have to wait for us to hear more evidence on it. But because once again, this vaccine has been under a microscope of so many companies. There's so many different variations of the same thing right now out in the market. It's fair to say that within reason, this will be true. If they're saying that the booster shot will give us an opportunity to keep 90% of people that get it out of the hospital, not from getting COVID, just out of the hospital, that would do wonders from keeping the population down. If 90% of the people weren't in the hospital in November of last year, we never see 700,000 people. That's got to be a sobering ass number. We're 300,000 people away from 1 million, which means we're really just one season away from hitting 1 million because we basically gain 4 million to 3 million every season. I mean, that 100,000. But like we have to want more for ourselves. Is ultimately what all of these articles are saying. And we
well, these particular articles, there's other articles that have a difference of opinion.
Yeah, for sure. But there was a great article in Breitbart, and it's kind of crazy, but I really enjoyed. I would never read Breitbart, but it was like so funny I couldn't help myself. It was literally saying, "Hey, maybe we should get the jab because the leftists are hoping we don't take it and we all die, and we can't die to own the libs, or we can't beat the libs." And I was just like,
that's a backwards way of telling people that you agree with the vaccine. Just say, I agree with the vaccine. What's so hard about this? Is and I'm not just saying about the people on the right. It's the people on the left too. Everybody takes this absolutely mind-boggling stance. 60% of America is pretty much politically in the middle and willing to have a conversation to compromise. It's these fringe idiots that feed us garbage like that. All you had to say is, I think the vaccine's safe. I think the vaccine would probably contribute to the situation. What's so difficult about that? I don't get it. And everybody who knows who watch this, y'all know that I tend to be more conservative on things, but stuff like this, I get worked up because it's the exact same thing that the right accuses the left of doing. Mental gymnastics and word salads. That's what that is. In order to stay alive and own the libs, we need to get the jab because they're gonna take her gerb. You know what I mean? Like what's bro. All right. Anyway. I'm sorry.
We can catch the five, but it's so hard to find through the daily grind. Been working overtime, and I'm sleep deprived. Shorty on my line, and we fuss and fight. Seems like every night. Don't care who's wrong or right. I hope the end is sight. Slow it down.